Hi, I'm talking to my beautiful friend Barb today about the way she lives her life. Barb has two great kids, a deeply caring husband, and she runs a busy and successful business. Most women I know and see as clients juggle busy, complicated, messy lives, and they seldom ask for help. So when I was talking to Barb about this, um, I captured some of her little nuggets of wisdom. I'm a coach, so I take copious amounts of notes. And I want to read what Barb told me and I think everybody should take some notes because this is good. um, this is what she says. It's a constant journey of developing a practice of blending self care, intuition, raising kids, being in business, and knowing that all these things don't exist in neat compartments. Thank you for those nuggets. And I'd like to start with your practice of blending, because to me, that's just such a great and descriptive word blend. It just covers so much. Can you tell us a little bit about how you blend? What does that mean?
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting because in the back of my mind, I'm chuckling a little bit because in order to embrace more of a concept of blending the different components of my day, I've kind of had to learn how to let go of the control freak part of me where things need to be done in a certain order at this time, or oh my gosh, I've had to learn how to really let go of that, and just trust that, like, for example, my kids don't need me in the way that they used to, and that they're figuring out their wings and their ways. And I need to honor that my role with them is changing. And also with my business. So, for example, I think it's just honoring the stages that we find ourselves as businesses ebb and flow and they grow. We need to be able to recognize moments of maybe, oh, I could take this as a self-care moment, or, oh, maybe I, need to take the first 15 minutes of my day to stretch and, wake up and be grateful for things and get myself in a good space. And then the rest seems to follow. So I think it's much less task focused, even though I still have a lot of tasks to get done. And I've become much more emotionally focused. How am I feeling right now? Do I need to take a pause? Do I need to, sit here for 10 minutes before I make this phone call? Those kinds of things. That's
Okay.
blending to me.
So, okay, thank you for that. Okay, it's such a great word because it's when you're cooking and you're blending, it's all coming together smoothly. You can see the process, you can feel the process. So what I'm hearing is how present you are in your life for yourself and for everything around you. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Most of the time. Yeah, most of the time. I mean, I really do try. And, as a coach, Pauline, I'm sure that you spend a lot of time talking with people about triggers
Hmm.
and emotional triggers. And, some of some of the wording that we're hearing lately is about epigenetics and, different things that we hold in our DNA and those kinds of things. And that really becomes the practice, is spending some time sort of unraveling, why am I reacting this way to a situation? Is it the last straw for that particular day? How did I get there? Why did I allow myself to get that wound up about certain things? Um, and maybe what I need to do is sort of just ask myself that question,
Okay.
because I want to be present, with almost any task or person that I'm interacting with. And there's a lot of distractions around us. And so there's lots of reasons not to be present. And so I think it's looking at some of those, eliminating some of those distractions, and looking more at priorities. So for me right now, I've got two young kids, and I really have to I allow myself, I've set it as a priority for myself to be emotionally present to them when they need me. And if that happens to coincide during a time when I'm on a call, or I'm really, my head is into a project that I'm working on, I've needed to develop the language to say to them, look, I hear that you need me right now. I need 15 minutes and then I will come and find you. Where are you going to be? So it's been learning how to develop better boundaries and language around what do I need. I hear you. I want to nurture you, but I also need 15 minutes before I can do that. Right.
That's
So it,
wonderful.
right. And that's not something that happened. That is definitely not something that happens overnight. That's something that comes from making a lot of mistakes, yelling, not feeling good about how I handled something, reflecting,
Yeah,
coming back around, right?
yeah. Thank you. Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
don't know. Did I
So
answer
yeah,
your
it is.
question?
I think you did because you went further into your process, and you brought your kids
Okay.
in, so that's wonderful. Yeah. I have those same challenges, but I have an adult child, so that just takes it to a whole new level, and a grandchild. So it's like,
Right.
okay, I need to take notes here, Barbie. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I think it's giving ourselves permission. Like, I think underneath it all, it comes back to, valuing how my mental health and how my emotional health is.
yes.
And if I need to give that 15 minutes, then I just need to give that 15 minutes.
Okay. So I just want to take this
So
just a
I think,
little. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah.
no, go
I
ahead.
okay. I just want to take this process just a little bit deeper, if I could, or maybe wider, because I experience you as just this incredible blend of intellect and intuition. Okay, and it's such a powerful, grounded place. It seems to give you confidence. How do you use that with your kids and in your business? Like, how do you trust that?
Well, Pauline, I think that's grounding.
Okay.
I think it has a lot to do with being very grounded. And I think
Yeah.
that that's where that morning practice that's starting to emerge for me is really lending itself to the further development and strength of that grounding.
Okay.
Right, because then if I know and I'm in tune with how I'm feeling, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, and I'm also in touch with the concept that I have the right to set a boundary, right, then I can communicate in the moment, even if the best I can do at that moment is, I realize you're trying to tell me something right now. I'm really distracted. Can you just give me 5 minutes so that I can collect myself, and then I'll be able to listen to you. Like, that would be something I would say to my
That is
kids.
so kind. That's so kind. And that's such a great example of setting a boundary, being kind and open and present for your kids. Okay. How do you do
And
this
I
with
think it,
a colleague?
right. So I think what I have realized recently as I've become my calendar has the time
Yes.
slots in my calendar are being
Yeah.
more and more competed for,
Yeah.
is that I exactly had to think about how I can provide myself to clients and to
Yeah.
family and friends and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And so it's resulted in me looking at my calendar in a more longer term perspective. So when I first sort of started with my business, I was really like day by day, who can I talk to? What should I do now? Right now, I'm like 6 weeks out. I have to think in terms of six
Okay.
weeks, where I have to think
Yeah.
I've got some family responsibilities, I've got some friend responsibilities, I've got client responsibilities. And if somebody requests something from me and I'm not able to provide it, my triage skills have developed where I need to understand, is this an emergency? Because if this is an emergency, then I need to be able to reposition other appointments. And because of the
Okay.
work I do, that's essentially what I say. Something that's come up that's very
Okay.
emergent for another client. Is there a way that we could either reschedule or postpone for an hour so that I could deal with this, so that then I'm fully present for you? Is typically what I would try
Okay.
to communicate. And so it
Okay.
becomes a bit of a juggling act for sure.
That's right.
But
It's juggling
I
and
think
it's
it's so
messy.
important. Well, it is. It's never like chaos.
No.
It
That's
feels
right.
chaotic. It really
Yeah.
does. And
Right.
I wish
Yeah.
there was a more positive word for that, though. I wish there was a more positive word than chaos, because the chaos has a negative connotation to it, and I
It
I
does.
feel that it shouldn't. I feel that the word
Okay.
chaos could be replaced with something, um, I don't know, other than sorry as well, right? Because
And
then you don't want
other
to
than
apologize
sorry,
either.
I know.
Sorry, I can't get
Yeah.
to this. Sorry,
Sorry,
I
but
can't.
sorry, but
Sorry, right?
yeah.
So I don't know. What do you
Okay.
do? How do you?
What?
How I'm
What?
curious. How do you set boundaries with?
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one. That's a good one. I have a similar process. I check in, and I really I yeah. It's and I will use the term chaos because right now, over and above our own lives and running our businesses and dealing with our families, we're in a fire zone, right? We've got white skies. You can see them behind you, um, and it is chaotic. It is topsy turvy in the world right now. So these add to it, and it's remembering that there's layers and layers to this. Okay, so they're going to bring up triggers. Okay, well, I think what I'm noticing in myself lately is how important it is to witness my own process, and that
mm,
doesn't happen um, easily. It doesn't happen easily. I have to have sometimes a little 2 by 4 therapy to make myself see that, because I can just get you know twirling around a little bit. And also for those of us who keep taking on more, perhaps I'm a slow learner. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's a similar process of constantly checking in with yourself, and it is constant right now because there's so many other
and
distractions.
and I think learning to say no, because it's still
Yeah,
at times uncomfortable
yeah,
for me to say
yeah,
no, and so but I have to,
yeah,
or at least have to say it in a nicer way.
yeah.
Um,
And
but
for
but
me too,
it's imperative,
it's such a loss to say no and give up things. So for me, if I'm feeling it as a loss and I still want to do it, then I need to look for ways to do it in a different way.
right?
It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy, but it's done. And that level of letting go, it's kind of hard because I want to keep taking it back because of my programming. But it is a new skill, and I'm grateful for it. So maybe out of this chaos, those are the gems.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And I
Everybody's
think that's the practice. Like you were asking about the practice, but I think that's what
yes,
it is
yeah,
becoming aware of our process,
yeah,
knowing that we value, being present,
yeah.
and wanting to give our best to people, but also knowing that we have to balance that with self-care and our own
That's
personal
right.
boundaries and needs, which means you have to value the time that you're spending and the way that you're spending it. And so I get to decide how that goes, but I have a
Yeah,
responsibility to communicate where I'm at in in a, a professional manner and in a caring manner, um,
yeah.
and work on triggers. And that's
And
why I
that's
think
the
working with
gift.
a coach, well, that's the gift. But you know what, Pauline, I was going to compliment you because I think that as a coach, I think that, you know, I wouldn't, the time that I've spent with you, the conversations that we've had, you always do have a skill to bring it back to that for people. And I really feel that that
Mm,
is the benefit of working with a coach, is having another pair of eyes give you language
another
and
pair of eyes.
awareness to that process, and then you get to
Mm.
decide how you're going to move forward with that information, but at least you're better
At
armed and
least you're
better
armed
equipped.
and protected and protected. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
protected from all the
Yes.
triggers. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for that. I really need to take that in. It's what I say to many of my clients is because we are working right here, right now. We visit the past, but we don't bring it here. It's right here, right now. So the stronger your now is, the stronger your future is going to be. Okay, so it's all about
Right
making
on.
now really strong, and that's something that we all need to remember and be aware of, and yeah, being present. So I thank you for that. I thank you
Yeah,
for
you're
that.
welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What I know about you, okay, and I'm just going to tell a little story here. When I
Okay.
when I first met you a few years ago now, I went to what was it, a gathering where your husband was going to make a presentation. And I'd
Okay.
never met him before, so I walked in, and James looked at me, shook my hand, and he said, "You've got to meet my wife." It's like, okay, I can't wait. And there you were. It was unusual, and it was a profound statement, and to me it had great meaning because it went right into my heart, went right into me very deeply. And then there you were. Okay. And I noticed this about you then, and I see it now. There's a light in you. There's a light in you, around you, and you just absolutely sparkle. Okay. And I love being in that presence. To me, it's another layer of how you connect. Okay, what do you do to maintain that sparkle? What do you do to take care of you? Because in many women's lives, if the wheels fall off you, they fall off everywhere. So what do you do? What is the most important thing for your self care? You maintain this light.
Yeah, that's a really good question. The older I get, and now that I'm entering into menopause,
Well, that's a trip in itself.
right? It's like, oh, there goes sleep,
There
which
goes
is
sleep.
probably one of the key things.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for it to come back. Sleep.
Well, I think it's an interesting question, Pauline, because I know that that light is in all of us. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
steadfast. And so I think that going back to the comment about distractions, how surrounded we are by distractions, it's really easy to get
Mm-hmm.
off of the path of finding that light and that glow. Um, and so I think that in order to maintain that connection, again, I have to make the time to just sit and go, gosh, where am I at today? Where am I at right
Mm-hmm.
now? I mean, you and I are very similar. I think that's why we're so connected, is because of how much we care for our clients and for our friends and people that
Mm-hmm.
we interact with. We really want to do the best for them, and the best for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. But in order to do the best for other people, I think that you do have to do the best for yourself. And so during this pandemic, no word of a lie, I think I've put on 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how is
Okay.
that an example of me taking good care of myself? Now I can understand why it happened, right? And so now I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting in a place where it's like, it's so interesting because I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna restrict all my calories. I'm just using this as an example of integrating this blending
Mm-hmm.
concept into weight gain, for example. Because it's like, no, I'm
Right.
just gonna
Okay.
make good healthy choices. I'm gonna feel good about what I eat, drink more water, increase my activity, and I know that over a period of a year, because it took me a year to put it on, so over a period of a year, I'll work to get it off, and I'm peaceful with that.
Okay.
So I think that's it. I think it's learning how to
Okay.
find a thinking process or a mindset where you feel peaceful
Okay.
about you're doing your best, you know that you're giving it your all, and if you have days where you can't give it your all, that's okay. My best just wasn't my best today, but I still gave it my best,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that inner dialogue, really trying to disconnect from the concept of it wasn't good enough. I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
It's not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like those are all light
That's right.
killers.
They are killers. They are killers. We just bash ourselves, and it's we need to put that bashing stick down because we use it in ourselves, and we often use it on other people. So yeah, it's
Someone
so
said to
yeah.
me,
I think.
yeah, someone said to me a comment recently that kind of stuck with me. They said, by the time you actually verbalize a thought that you have been having, you've had
Mhm.
that thought somewhere around, what is it, like 40 or 50,000 times in your head. And by the time you actually verbalize it, it's become well into your awareness that is something that you think. So I think that this is part of how words are very powerful as well. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it takes a lot
Yeah.
to come to a place of, I'm good, you're good,
Yeah.
let's have a good
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
you
Let's
know?
have a good day. Well, what I'm hearing is a level of acceptance and self love here.
Right.
Okay? Not easy for a lot of us. Our programming just doesn't grasp that concept. And right now it's really really common for people to talk about the weight that they've gained. I
Yeah.
understand that one because going back to cooking like I did in the 80s with all my Canadian living recipes. You know, we're all
Yeah.
there, but I think I need to take a little nugget as I discovered I think I'm a really good cook.
You are a really good cook. You've got the best cinnamon buns.
So anyway, any other little tidbits you could leave us with, Barb? Any other little nuggets of wisdom?
Well, you know what, Pauline, what I really appreciate about you is that you're wanting authentic. Like you're wanting to provide your clients and whomever's interested an opportunity to sort of, hopefully someone listening to this today would sort of go, okay, so she doesn't have her, like, I would not be the first person to say I've got my shit all together. Okay, sorry for swearing, but I would not be the first person to say that. And I think that that's
Yeah,
part of the acceptance of that it's a constant journey. We're just constantly
yeah,
trying to be
it
better
is.
today than we were yesterday. And it's going to be messy. And so
Yeah,
to me, that's authentic, right? To me, that's really doing
yeah,
spiritual work, um, and
it
healthy
is.
work, is that there's going to be chaos. And I think that just by
Yeah,
embracing that in each other, we can create a safe space for women
mm-hmm.
in particular to to feel like
Yes,
it's okay, right?
it's
I
okay.
It's okay.
It's
You're
okay.
okay. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
not going to judge you.
yeah,
I'm not doing those
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So,
That's compassion. That's love. That's
passion.
and thank you for the compliment. Yeah, authenticity and being genuine. I don't know how to do it any other way, even if some of the shit oozes out. It's like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who's got it together. Really, it's messy. You roll up your sleeves and you kind of dive in and hope for the best while you're learning. I can't thank you enough for being here. I am so deeply honored to know you and to share this relationship and your life with whomever is going to listen to this.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Pauline.
thank you.